The tow truck arrived at 6:17 in the morning. Most people in Oak Ridge Estates were still asleep. The streets were quiet. The sun hadn't fully risen. And that was exactly how Karen Whitmore wanted it. No witnesses. No questions. No problems. Standing across the street with a cup of coffee in her hand, Karen watched as the tow truck driver backed toward my driveway. The target was obvious. A fully marked police SUV. Blue stripes. Department logo. Emergency lights. Everything. The driver looked uncertain. Even from a distance I could tell. He walked toward Karen. Asked a question. Karen pointed at a stack of papers. Then pointed at my SUV. The driver hesitated. Karen folded her arms. A few seconds later he nodded. The hook went on. The winch started pulling. And just like that, a city-owned police vehicle began disappearing down the street. Karen smiled. She thought she had finally won. What she didn't know was that she had just made the biggest mistake of her life. Because that SUV didn't belong to an ordinary officer. It belonged to the brand new police chief. Me. Chapter 2. Meet Karen. Every neighborhood has one person who treats HOA rules like federal law. For Oak Ridge Estates, that person was Karen Whitmore. Karen had been HOA president for 3 years. During those 3 years she issued hundreds of violations. Mailbox too colorful? Violation. Basketball hoop visible? Violation. Holiday decorations left up too long? Violation. One resident received a warning because his garden gnome was considered aggressive. Nobody understood what that meant. Not even Karen. But nobody challenged her. At least not successfully. Karen enjoyed power. And like many people who enjoy power, she eventually convinced herself she had more authority than she actually did. Chapter 3. My arrival. I moved into Oak Ridge Estates 2 months earlier. The city had recently appointed me as the new police chief. After 20 years in law enforcement, I finally accepted the promotion. I wanted a quiet neighborhood. A place where my wife and daughter could feel comfortable. Oak Ridge seemed perfect. For the first few weeks everything was peaceful. Then Karen noticed my patrol SUV. That changed everything. Chapter 4. The first warning. The first HOA letter arrived 3 days after I moved in. I laughed when I read it. Notice of vehicle violation. According to Karen, my marked police vehicle violated HOA regulations regarding commercial equipment. I thought it was a misunderstanding. So I called her. Big mistake. Karen wasn't interested in explanations. She wasn't interested in facts. She only cared about winning. The conversation lasted less than 5 minutes. By the end, Karen had informed me that my SUV would be removed if I failed to comply. I remember laughing. Karen didn't. Chapter 5. Escalation. Over the next month Karen became obsessed. Every week brought another letter. Another fine. Neighbors started noticing. Many apologized. Several told me Karen targeted everyone eventually. Apparently I was simply her newest project. Then one afternoon she knocked on my door. She looked unusually confident. Last warning. I glanced at the paper. Then handed it back. I'm not moving the vehicle. Karen smiled. A strange smile. The kind people make when they think they already have a plan. That smile worried me. And for good reason. Chapter 6. The discovery. The morning after the tow, I stepped outside expecting to leave for work. Instead I found an empty driveway. At first I thought the SUV had been stolen. Then I saw the note. Karen had taped it to my mailbox. Vehicle removed for HOA non-compliance. I stared at the paper. Read it twice. Then laughed. Not because it was funny. Because it was unbelievable. Karen had actually done it. She had arranged for a city-owned police vehicle to be towed. My phone rang. It was the mayor. Apparently someone at headquarters noticed the missing SUV before I did. Things were already getting interesting. Chapter 7. The tow company panic. The tow company manager nearly fainted when I arrived. The moment he saw my badge, he knew something was wrong. The moment he learned I was the police chief, things got worse. Much worse. The manager immediately produced paperwork. Every page carried Karen's name.
Karen's signature.
Karen's authorization. Karen's emails. Karen's instructions. There was no confusion.
No misunderstanding. No mistake.
Karen had personally arranged everything. The manager looked terrified. I almost felt bad for him. Almost. Chapter 8. The HOA meeting. 3 days later, the largest HOA meeting in neighborhood history took place. More than 300 residents attended. News crews arrived. City officials arrived. The mayor arrived. And Karen walked in looking incredibly confident. That confidence lasted exactly 6 minutes. Because then the projector turned on. And Karen's emails appeared on the screen. Every single one. The room became silent. Then came the security footage. Then the towing documents. Then witness statements. Karen's face slowly turned white. The crowd couldn't believe what they were seeing. Neither could Karen. For the first time, she realized how serious the situation had become. Chapter 9. The biggest reveal. Then the mayor stood up. The room immediately became quiet. He pointed toward me. Many of you know Mr. Walker as your neighbor. A pause. What many of you don't know is that he is the city's new police chief. The room exploded. People started whispering. Some gasped. Others laughed. Karen looked like she had seen a ghost. She genuinely hadn't known. For months she had been harassing the police chief. And now everyone knew it. Chapter 10. Karma arrives. Over the following weeks everything fell apart for Karen. The HOA board removed her. Residents demanded her resignation. Sponsors withdrew support. Neighbors stopped defending her. Even board members who once supported her abandoned her. The woman who spent years controlling everyone suddenly had nobody standing beside her. Power disappears quickly when people stop believing in it. Karen learned that lesson the hard way. Final chapter. 6 months later, Oak Ridge Estates looked very different. The HOA became reasonable again. Residents were happier. Community events returned. And my patrol SUV remained exactly where it belonged. One evening I sat on my porch watching kids ride bicycles through the neighborhood. A neighbor walked by and laughed. Remember when Karen tried towing the police chief's SUV? I smiled. How could I forget? Because some people think authority comes from a title. Others understand it comes from responsibility. Karen never learned the difference. And that's why her story ended the way it did. The end.